and leadership, women of color.
Are both young women newly promoted to healthcare leadership positions.
I'm 29.
25.
Aganette is the Associate Administrator of Delray Medical Center.
I've seen a huge change in acceptance in not just age or race or sex, but more so about your skill set and what you're able to offer.
Maria is the Chief Operating Officer at the hospital.
While I was in my MBA program, I had expectations of what it would be like to be a woman of color, a woman walking into business and healthcare in general as a leader.
The Palm Beach Health Network CEO, Maggie Gill, calls these efforts intentional.
I've seen that leadership doesn't always represent the community that it serves in terms of what it looks like.
A McKinsey study on women in the workplace shows overall in 2021, just 30% of so-called C-suite members are female for the healthcare industry.
I remember, when I was 28 years old and I was for my first time CFO job, I was the only person who looked like me in the room.
Making it her mission to expand diversity in leadership, Gill takes pride in the fact close to 70% of top executives in Palm Beach Health Network are female in her group.
It's a big difference.
The hospital group includes Delray Medical Center, Good Samaritan, Palm Beach Gardens Medical Center, St. Mary's, and West Boca. When it comes to CEO positions, including herself, 4 out of 5 are women. What did it look like here like 5-10 years ago?
It looked a lot different. Yeah, I would say the numbers were probably closer to what the national average was.
So this is something you're really passionate about?
It is. I'm very passionate about it. Again, I think some of that comes from personal experience, experiencing bias in my own career.
She calls it reaching in.
To find those people who have potential, who may not, again, look like your typical executive, and helping them develop at an individual level.
Why do you think it's important in a hospital setting to have female leadership?
I thought, wow, we're an industry of primarily women workers in hospitals, and there seems to be a gap here in terms of how we're represented in leadership.
A so-called map may be in the works.
I grew up without having really a blueprint. I think often with men in leadership, you have a lot of representation in the community. You know that I can aspire to be like X, Y, or Z. For me, it was difficult to find someone to idolize or to work towards.
We serve a diverse population, so I think it's important that your leadership is reflective of that.
But Gill says
that as an industry, obviously there's work to do. I think the journey's never over.
Tori Dunnan, WPTV News Channel 5.
Well, the big day is almost here, but there's still time to take the kids to visit Santa before he takes off on his worldwide journey. We'll tell you where you can go coming up next.
You're watching Chris 6 News at noon.
And welcome back. Well, we're seeing some very warm temperatures here in the coastal bend. That's not the case out west. Taking a look at some video from Northern California where they're doing some sledding as well as getting the chains on the tires out west to make travel a little bit easier on this Christmas Eve. And they desperately need the rain and snow. They've been dealing with drought for quite some time. But here it's the heat as we take a live look outside over Corpus Christi Bay. A beautiful shot. A little bit of cloud cover out there. Currently our temperature 78 degrees, and yes, it's windy out there. The wind's blowing out of the south, about 29 miles per hour. Yesterday's daytime high 78 degrees, and you can see we'll be a little bit above that today. Normally this time of year we should be right around 68 degrees. Now the winds are blowing out of the southwest at 24 miles per hour in Ingleside. Alice coming in 22 miles per hour, about 24 in the Robstown area, and with all the wind definitely impacting our beach and boating forecast. Small craft advisory is in effect. Our bays are choppy, seas running right around 3 to 4 feet with some of those waves running up to about 5 feet. The wind should taper off a little bit for Christmas Day, and then it's going to be coming on back as we head into your Sunday. Here's a look at our planner for today. At 3 o'clock we should be right around around 80 degrees. 5 o'clock hour about 75 degrees. For the 10 o'clock hour coming in at about 69 degrees. Combination radar and satellite imagery shows most of the cloud cover off to the west, just a little bit here in our neck of the woods. But for the most part, the storm track is going to stay well to the north of us. High pressure is going to be in control, and we're going to see lots of sunshine. Daytime highs in the lower 80s for the next couple of days. Future tracker does pick up on a little bit of fog as we move into early Christmas morning, and then that fog should taper off, and the heaviest fog likely again in the inland locations. Temperatures around the state right now, 76 degrees in Houston, 75 in Dallas. Marfa coming in at 72 degrees. Amarillo has a current temperature of 73 degrees. Coldest air definitely here in the west. We're looking at 30 right now in Boise, Seattle, sitting at 39 degrees, while most of the south seeing temperatures well above average. Kind of zooming on in, we're seeing a rain snow mix across parts of the Great Lakes, but the main story here in the west, we got all that mountain snow, the rain. This is continuing across parts of Arizona and New Mexico, and another big snowmaker up across the Pacific Northwest for Seattle and Portland. But here's our forecast for tonight. Does call for clear skies, patchy fog. Going to see an overnight low right around 64 degrees. Then as we head into tomorrow, warm, breezy, daytime high right around 83 degrees. So yes, a very warm Christmas here in the Coastal Bend. As far as Sunday goes, we're going to see about 82 degrees. Then on Monday, about 81 degrees. We're going to stay in the lower 80s all the way through next week. Maybe next weekend we might start to see a little cooler air moving in. Greg?
All right, thank you very much, Tom. And it's a yearly tradition for many families, taking pictures with Santa Claus. If you haven't had a chance to get your kids on his lap this year, there's still time to head down to La Palmera Mall. Our Andrew Christensen spoke with jolly old St. Nick.
Some people end up on the naughty list, some people end up on the nice list, and I asked Santa, am I on the naughty or nice list? And he told me that I'm on the nice list this year. I also asked him what his favorite part about the job is, and he tells me it's getting to know the kids and also their parents, and getting to know them year after year to make it a family tradition.
Ho, ho, ho. I love being Santa, man. That's my whole heart. I treat everybody's child like it were my own.
He's been Santa for almost 20 years.
I put on a coat and I look like this, and nobody believes that, but that's really more or less what happened.
Some kids a little shy, others eager.
I don't know how a guy like you could be bad, do you?
Still, for some, it's their first time.
A new generation, she's our great-granddaughter. I have been bringing my great-granddaughter that will be 9 in January all these years, and it's just beautiful memories for me.
As for the kids Santa sees every year,
that is precious to me, to see somebody grow up and become an adult.
But he says it's not a job for everyone.
A lot of people meet the qualifications of looking like Santa, but to be a good Santa, you got to have the heart.
And what does Santa want for Christmas?
I give my Christmas to my people. I really don't have Christmas. I give it to them.
Thank you very much, Andrew. And visits with Santa continue until 6 o'clock tonight. Walk-ins are welcome on a first-come, first-served basis.
I'm John Matteries. Need a last-minute Christmas gift? Well, consider your local convenience store, where it's a lot more than just snacks and soft drinks these days. I'll explain coming up.
You're watching Chris 6 News at noon.
All right, here we are, hours to go until Christmas Day, and you still don't have a few gifts? Well, don't worry. Your local convenience store, that's right, the Stripes on your corner, well, they're ready to help you out. Consumer reporter John Matteries visited one, so you don't waste your money.
Convenience stores like this one will be saving a lot of last-minute shoppers this Christmas Eve.
This is our best-selling thing for Christmas right now.
Mac Patel manages a convenience store that's a lot more than a gas station with Gatorade.
It's a really nice bucket. People just wrap it on and then give it as a gift.
He says when Walmart and everyone else closes for Christmas, his Ameristop store gets busier with shoppers desperate for last-minute gifts to bring to grandmas. Among the top sellers, holiday lottery tickets.
They have $2, $3, $1.
Need a gift for a teenager? Almost every convenience store has ear pods, headsets, and USB chargers.
We have like lots of different chargers, Bluetooth, there are some handset, what kids love.
In the past, convenience stores used to be known for soft drinks and snacks, like combos, one of my favorites. But lately, they've been expanding and offering more and more items that can be used as gifts.
There's all other different varieties that we have, like Chard, Cab, Merlot, Pinot Noir.
Mac Store has a liquor license, which means wine and champagne.
People like these 3-packs of La Marca to give their relatives or friends.
And dozens of craft beers from around the country.
Gift Stout, which has like 3 different stouts in it.
And if all else fails, there's always an amazing selection of beef jerky. Customers love Mac Store for all it offers.
I'm in here all the time. I love this Ameristop.
You might just love your local convenience store too if you need a last-minute Christmas gift, and that way you don't waste your money. I'm John Matteries.
All right, stay with it. For our KZTV viewers, thanks for joining us today. If you're watching us on KRIS, stay tuned. Another half hour of news and weather is coming up right after the break. See you in a minute.
This is Chris 6 News at noon.
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us this Christmas Eve. I'm Greg Chandler. At the top, one woman hospitalized after a shootout with police in Flower Bluff. This happened on Juniper Drive around 8:45 last night. According to Corpus Christi Police Chief Mike Markle, they were responding to a burglary in progress at the home. When officers arrived, they found the suspect, who then pulled a rifle on the officers.
Officers could not get this person to comply to drop the rifle. Shots were fired. I don't know how many shots. Officers were able to get out of the building until SWAT team could come in and clear the building and take the suspect into custody.
No officers were injured in the incident. The woman taken to the hospital in unknown condition, but Chief Markle did say she was alert and talking to officers. The officers involved will be placed on paid administrative leave, which is standard in incidents like this. The shooting is under investigation. Corpus Christi police also investigating after a body was found near the HEB Tennis Center yesterday. When officers searched the area, they discovered a man's body at HEB Park. Investigators don't believe foul play was involved, but an autopsy was ordered to determine the cause of death. And police also asking for your help identifying 2 vehicles of interest in a recent shooting. Investigators believe these 2 cars could be connected to a drive-by shooting on the 300 block of Osage back on November 30th. A 21-year-old woman was injured in that shooting. If you recognize either of these vehicles, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers at the number on your screen, 888-TIPS. And now to the latest COVID-19 numbers in Nueces County. Officials reported 0 new deaths Thursday. That keeps our total at 1,312. There were, however, 85 new coronavirus cases, bringing the total to nearly 69,400. Hundreds of Christmas Eve flights have been canceled due to a spike in Omicron COVID-19 cases. In a statement, United Airlines said the spike in Omicron had a direct impact on their flight crews and the people who run their operations. United's canceled at least 130 flights. Delta has canceled 93.
We were really concerned last night when I saw on the nenews that they had canceled 100 flights, and I'm like, oh my God, we won't be able to get home. But luckily, we kept checking the flight status, got here, and everything was fine. So we were really grateful for that.
Delta cites severe winter weather along with Omicron cases in its cancellations. So far, no flights out of Corpus Christi International Airport have been canceled, but you should check with your airline to see if any connecting flights have been impacted. Andrews Distributing and local taxi companies teaming up to make sure you get home safely this holiday season if you've had too much to drink. Their annual free cab ride program begins on Christmas Eve and runs through New Year's Eve. Those free rides will be offered from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. To get a free cab ride, call or text 299-9999. Those cabs will only take you home, and the service will only be available in the Corpus Christi area, which does include Robstown, Flower Bluff, the Island, and 5 Points. Today, President Joe Biden and the First Lady made a holiday visit to Children's National Hospital in Washington, D.C. The visit was a surprise for hospital patients, families, and staff. This is the first time a sitting president has taken part in the annual holiday tradition at the hospital. This was Dr. Jill Biden's third visit to the hospital as First Lady and continues the annual tradition of First Ladies celebrating the holiday at Children's National with hospitalized children and their families. She read aloud from Olaf's Night Before Christmas, which was also broadcast by video to all pediatric patients throughout the hospital.